Good morning, everyone. I really just wanted to come on. I haven't made a video in a while, and I want to give you some encouraging words. I'm sitting here this morning in contemplation, just praying to God and thinking about how I sit here. I'm in New York. There's the beautiful Hudson River. Okay. I'm in the Hudson Valley. I'm in the Hudson Valley. And I sit here. Now, last year, I went to Israel, and it took 11 hours, the flight, with delays, layovers and all those things. And I remember touching down. When I touched down in Israel, I thought, I'm here. I'm actually here in Israel. It really happened, and it was such a blessing to be able to go over there and to experience that. And this morning I was sitting there just contemplating everything, and I'm like, wow, how do you really know that Jesus really did what he did, right? I'm in New York, in North America, 2,000 years later. What did you do this morning? What did you do yesterday? I'm not saying that we're not important people, right? But do you think 2,000 years from now, someone's going to care what you did yesterday or even know? Probably not, right? No one's even going to know other than your family. My grandma passed away years ago. I don't know what she did when she was a kid. I don't know what my uncle, who passed away not too long ago, did when he was a kid. And that's relatively new news, right? So here I am 2,000 years later in a land that took 11 hours to get to. Is that far away from me? Traveling 500 miles, 600 miles an hour. It took 11 hours to get to. 2,000 years later, and I know of Jacob and Abraham, Adam and Eve, and Cain and Abel. I know of Mother Mary. I know of Joseph. I know of the three wise men. I know of shepherds. Why? Why do I know this? Because it was so dramatic what happened in history that it passed through 2,000 years. This story had to have been told from generation to generation. And it gets to me in New York 2,000 years later, and I'm able to know of the events of the people that it affected and everyone involved. I know that a guy named Peter turned his back on his Lord just moments before he was about to be crucified and needed him the most. I know that same Peter then led a huge charge to bring this message to me 2,000 years ago, to today. I know of Solomon, a king that was so rich and had so much. And I know of his father, King David. I know of all the stories of the Jewish history, and I know of all the stories of how Christianity began. I know of Pontius Pilate, right? I know of Nicodemus. I know of a conversation that happened in a garden. Why? Think about these details. Think. You know these things. Why? Why were they written down? How did they get to us? No one's going to be writing a book about me when I'm dead. No one's going to care about what Steve Jones did, right? So the only people that might care are my son and my wife and my kids, right? So I'm just saying that it's just amazing to me that this story got to me over here. And I'm just contemplating God this morning, and I'm like, God, you're amazing. Your love was so prevalent and on display the day you got crucified and that you rose from the dead, that it passed through time and it's still going. There's still people like us who love Jesus and who are talking about him. And I remember standing on the Mount of Olives thinking, wow, this is where the Lord went up, and this is where he's going to come back down. And I was standing in the place. I could have been standing in the very spot that he's going to step on, who knows? And it just felt reassuring that the Lord is coming back. We don't know when, right? But he's real and he's coming back. And I know I'm talking to someone today. So think about how you know these stories. I mean, we take it for granted that we know the stories. It's the Bible, right? Everyone knows the Bible. You could say to anyone in the world, hey, I have a Bible. They know exactly what you're talking about. But the fact that we have a Bible, the fact that someone felt they honored that word so much that they passed it down from generation to generation to generation to generation to generation to generation. And everyone was like, we can't lose this. We have to keep this. We have to keep this knowledge. We have to disseminate this knowledge to the people. That's how powerful what happened is. Think of all the events that happen on an everyday basis, and most of them will never be remembered. We experience them day to day. Our life is fleeting, and it's very fragile. So I just want to praise the Lord and thank him for you, and hopefully this was encouraging, and hopefully it makes you think, value our word that we have even more. And there's been a lot of people who have given their lives. Think about that. They've died because they were told they couldn't have the Bible, and they were found with one and killed, or it was, outlawed in their country. Here I am sitting in America where I could just freely go out and talk to anyone, and I don't get arrested. And thank God for that. Thank God for my freedoms. So, hey, while we have the day, let's seize it. That's pretty much the message. I hope it excites you. I love you guys. Take care.